For over 200 years, the United States Coast Guard has executed its mission to enforce federal laws along our coasts, promote national security, improve transportation, commerce, and the national economy, and most importantly, to provide life-saving services for the millions of residents that live along America's coastlines. But how did this great branch of our military first begin? What led to the legacy that the United States Coast Guard has established for over 2 centuries? In this video, we will examine the exciting and profound history of the United States Coast Guard. The origins of the Coast Guard date back to the late 1780s, a few years after the passage of the Treaty of Paris of 1783, which officially ended the Revolutionary War. As a consequence of the recent war, the new nation was still struggling to pay off war debt, resulting in an event known as the post-war depression. However, by the late 1780s, the economy had begun to improve slightly after the signage of the United States Constitution in 1787, which gave the United States the power to tax. Also, the economy began to recover after the enactment of Hamilton's economic plan under the administration of President George Washington. However, as tensions brewed in far-off France, the United States began to encounter problems involving foreign policy, especially in the latter half of Washington's presidency, stemming into John Adams' presidency shortly thereafter. However, one of the main problems plaguing the United States into the early 1790s was the problem of illegal smuggling of foreign goods along the east coast of the United States. History tells us that this was certainly not a new issue and had occurred for much of the colonial period beginning in the late 1600s. Goods smuggled often included rum, molasses, and sometimes even the smuggling in and trade of African slaves, something that had been banned, suspended, or made more difficult after the Revolutionary War. With so many foreign goods being smuggled, the effect on the new nation's economy was severe. As a result, a bill was proposed in Congress on January 4, 1790, to impose a tariff upon select foreign goods to prevent illegal smuggling, primarily along the east coast of the nation. Alexander Hamilton, who was President Washington's Secretary of the Treasury, was a major proponent of the tariff, as he thought that it would help enforce safety and security from piracy along America's coasts. Hamilton also proposed to the President that the bill allow for the commission of 10 cutters that would patrol the coast to enforce the tariff and to promote safety along the nation's coasts. Washington accepted this idea, and on August 4, 1790, President Washington signed the Tariff Act of 1790, which in turn formed the Revenue Marine Service, composed of the 10 cutters that Alexander Hamilton had originally proposed to the President. This was the first early Coast Guard of the United States.